are live. We have survived the MLB Trade Deadline, and we are just pretty much an hour away from football. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in tonight to the SoFLo Sports Show, episode 111. Your host, 305 Sports Babe, co-host Lou from Dade.
What's going on, guys? And yeah, what a transition, right? We were sweating out the trade deadline. I know you're happy. I'm a little bit confused by what took place, or what didn't take place, if I should say. But look, it's a transition fully here from this big shakeup in the baseball world to football. It's almost like the torch is being passed to the king sport, if you will. Football kicks off tonight officially with the Hall of Fame game. Yeah, so you have the Detroit Lions, and then you have the LA Chargers battling off in Canton, Ohio. We were in Canton 2 years ago, which feels like just so long ago. But that game starts at 7:30, so about an hour from now. But let's just get into it because I am so ready to go. All right, so I will be the first to admit I have not changed my shirt in about 24 hours. Well, show me your shirt.
I'm going to. Hold on. You never like me to show, so give me a second. Okay, so I slept with this shirt. I wore this shirt to work. I came home, did some things around the house duty and chores in this shirt, and I kept this shirt on until at least 6 o'clock p.m., and now I can't take it off. So this is one of my favorite shirts. It's the Sandy Cy Young Tour shirt. So this shirt is obviously after Sandy Alcantara. The shirt was based in 2022 when he won the Cy Young season. And so it's similar to like a concert shirt. It has his beautiful face.
It's got tour dates in the back, all the games that he started. So
yes,
pretty awesome.
So I love this shirt. I also have a Sandy Alcantara jersey. However, it is hanging up in my office because he signed it this year in spring training. So, once you get a jersey signed, you just can't wear it again. So, guys, let's go into the chat. We have people chatting with us. Miami team, he is staying. Yes, he is. He's not going anywhere. Edward Cabrera is not going anywhere. Things are great. Miami, it is always good to hear from you. I am so happy, and I know you tweeted back at me. You are happy too, so we're both happy. David, we love you guys. Don't hate on my Detroit Tigers.
Tigers are rolling, man. Playing some good ball right now.
We love you guys too, and always welcome to come on to the dark side of the Marlins. Ladies and gents, Cat
for life in the house.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed Tennessee. Oh my gosh, we still have to talk about that. We haven't done a show since our vacation.
We had a good time. Yeah, we have not. We've actually haven't done a show in 3 weeks, which is the longest we've gone in a long time. We've been doing back-to-back shows. We need a little reset before the madness of training camp. And guys, if you are tuning in, catching us over our next, come on over to YouTube. Make sure you like tonight's episode and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. But yeah, look, this is our first show in a while, and it is a blockbuster between the trade deadline, NFL season officially getting started today, at least preseason aspect of it. Yeah. And yeah, a lot of things coming up and going on. So definitely come on over to this side and you can definitely chat with us here in the room. Yeah. Voice your opinions and interact with us. And we're excited about football being back.
Also, if we look extra good tonight, it's not that we lost weight. In fact, we probably gained weight from Tennessee.
Yes.
We have a brand new camera. So we are really excited to be showing it off tonight. So again, no Botox, no weight loss. It is our brand new.
Speak for yourself.
Okay,
I got some work done in these last 3 weeks.
So guys, hopefully you can see us, first of all. And second of all, hopefully we look flawless. South Florida G in the house. Sandy is staying here in Miami. However, I'm so happy how this Marlins team is playing. George, you are absolutely correct. The Marlins have won 5 straight series, and we are 9-1-1 winning these series, which is fantastic. We were the hottest team in baseball in July, which I just love to say. And guess what? August starts tomorrow. It's a new month, so let's continue.
Yeah, no doubt. You mentioned it, 9-1-1. So that means out of the last 11 series, the Marlins have won 9. Their only loss in that stretch was to the Brewers, and the tie was, believe it or not, to the Cincinnati Reds. It was a 4-game series until they split that 2-2. But no team's been hotter, and this is, to say unexpected is not even saying the right amount. A lot of people picked us to finish last in the division, laughing stock of the entire baseball world. And here they are, just 3 games out of 500, behind 500. They are currently 8.5 games away from 8.5 games back from the second place Phillies. Yeah. They are 9 games back of the first place Mets. and they are 7 games back of the wild card. Like, now, look, I don't anticipate us making a push to the wild card.
Speak for yourself. We just attacked all these players for a reason. We are going after that. Michael, great to see you. Glad to see you both. No, glad to have you join us tonight. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe to tonight's episode, and definitely come on over to the chat, interact with us with what's going on with this.
David, I might be crazy. No. But I truly think our Dolphins will shock the world. That's a little crazy thought, but we're kind of with you, so maybe we're all just crazy here. But okay, before we switch gears and talk about the Dolphins, we still have to talk a little more about the Marlins. So what did happen within the last, week, and then obviously the last 24 hours? So the big news was that we all knew Sandy Alcantara and at least Edward Cabrera were on the chopping block, and not so much on the chopping block, but they were being looked at by many, many other teams. We heard rumors, the Yankees, the Mets, the Astros, the Padres even started making noise. So we knew at least 4, even the Mets, 5 teams were barking at us. And what's really good is that Peter Bendix was not going to take little to nothing for Sandy. And obviously we saw that, right? And I'm so curious to know what offers came in for Sandy. Obviously it wasn't good enough because
it'll come out.
It will come out, but obviously we didn't move the needle, and Peter Bendix and crew know that, hey, this is what we want for Sandy. We're not taking anything left. So I'm really, really happy that they didn't
pull the trigger on
that.
You mentioned 2 guys. You mentioned Sandy. You mentioned Edward Cabrera.
Yeah.
I'd also want to add Cal Quantrill, who he's a veteran pitcher, 7 years in the big leagues, including a 15-game win season. Has been the last 3 starts, only given up 1 run. So there's a lot of guys that the Marlins were putting out there. A lot of people thought that they would make at least one of those pitchers would be dealt, and all of them are staying. They did make a move, and we'll get to it in a second. But again, going back to Cal Quantrill, last 3 starts, just 1 run given up. Veteran pitcher, 7 years in the big leagues, including a 15-game season. You got Edward Cabrera, who's pitching some of the best ball in his career. He's been hot as of late. The biggest thing for Edward Cabrera is he was a walking machine. He would give up 4 or 5 free passes a game, and in his last 5, he's only given up 4. So he's a guy that right now, a guy who's always been struggling with his command and his control, has found that aspect of his game and is not putting people on base for free. And so I thought that the Marlins would definitely go for it and give him away when his value was at an all-time high. And that was not the case. The Marlins held on to him. The other guy is, of course, you mentioned the guy you wanted to keep was Sandy. Sandy struggled for the most part of the year. His last 2 starts have been really well.
Yeah.
And, Peter Bendix, you mentioned him, he pretty much put it out there that he was not going to settle.
He was open to hear offers, but he was not going to settle.
He was going for the king's ransom. He was not going to shortchange Sandy or Edwards' value as of right now, or even the veteran Cal Quantrill. So,
so what did happen, right? So obviously, last night we were on Finn's Faithful podcast. We had a great time, and I brought up a good compare. I think it was good, at least. I said, hey, and this time yesterday, we didn't know what was going to happen. In fact, it was more looking like Sandy was going to get traded as opposed to not getting traded. So I'm glad that all turned out to be in our favor. And I said, how great would it be if we pull like a Bill Zito and everybody just stays? And you guys kind of like chuckled and were like, in your heart, you kind of thought that like, hey, that's going to be really, really, really tough. You guys I think you even made like a comment, but I thought like, hey, Bill Zito did it, keep the talent here.
But
so
babe, what I mentioned, we chuckled because you're comparing the Panthers that are champions and the Marlins who are anything but that. So I understand the running it back or keeping everybody together, but the Marlins are not going to win this year. They're probably not going to win next year either. These moves are made for the future, and they're trying to, and that's why it was essential that they, don't hold on to players that they lose control of. And Sandy is going to be gone in 2 years. You said that in
the beginning of the season. Before the All-Star break.
Hold on. And I said that, and I wish we would have dealt him at the beginning of the season because you would have got him max value. Unfortunately, he did not pitch well at the beginning part of the year. He's done well his last 2 starts, but 2 starts don't make a year. And unfortunately, his value was, dropped down because he didn't get off to a good start. So we'll see.
But what's good about this team is young, this team is hungry. You've had players like a Kyle Stowers that came from the Orioles that has had such an amazing season. Augustine Ramirez from the Yankees. So, Sandy hasn't had his stellar start, which we thought he would after Tommy John surgery, but you've had players, especially offensively, put up enough runs to win these series, and we're doing okay. And I'm okay with that.
They've been doing with pitching. The runs is not been, even last night, they won the game 2-0 at St. Louis. Guess who hit the home run? The guy who they traded today. So they don't have enough pop in the lineup to sustain this thing. They do have great pitching depth, all right, in starting department, and they got great pitching on the farm. You got Thomas White, who had a 15 strikeout game. Noble Meyer, who is one of the two. Those are two major prospects that will be here very soon, and so that's what made, in my opinion, Edward Cabrera and Sandy Alcantara expendable. Yeah. But it didn't happen. I credit, even though I'm surprised, I do credit, and I totally trust what Peter Bendix is doing. Yeah. We're going to talk about another guy the guy who was traded, and the guy who's going to probably be replacing him. He's just done a fantastic job bringing a bunch of young talent.
We have Paul in the house from the UK. Welcome from across the pond. So we're at this point right now that Marlins did make some moves, right? Not maybe as big.
One move, maybe one. Well,
no, 2 moves.
Yeah,
it's been 2. Yeah.
Talk about today. Yeah.
It's been 2 moves since. Okay. There's been bigger moves made today, and we'll talk a little bit on that. Obviously, Correa goes back to Houston, which is I think is like the biggest one. But the Marlins. Okay. So Nick Fortes, our catcher, gone.
Right.
And then also we just found out minutes ago, Jesus Sanchez gone to Houston. All right, so a few things about this. Jesus Sanchez, he's a great player, but he hasn't really reached his potential down here. So I personally think he's going to go to Houston and just blow it up and do fantastic, which happy for him because, again, this guy has a lot of talent. I don't think we've seen all of it, and I think he's going to be great there. So Houston did make moves with Correa, Jesus Sanchez. So they definitely brought some talent. And Correa obviously played with Houston before. He spent the last few years with the Twins. Okay, go ahead.
But Sanchez, you mentioned potential, but also an expiring contract. He's one of the few guys in the lineup, as I mentioned, that have some pop. So I would have loved to have maybe hung on to him because, again, we have good starting pitcher depth, and we don't have a lot of power in the lineup. And losing Sanchez is something to be questioned, I think.
But even also losing Nick Fortes, I'm okay with that because, he's a great catcher. He even threw out 2 players stealing in one inning, which hasn't been done in like a very long time in Marlins history. But offensively, there's way better catchers and position DH than him. So I'm okay with that, even though he's a great guy. Okay, so who did the Marlins get? Let's talk about it. All right, so the Marlins picked up right-handed pitcher Ryan Gusto. One that you really took interest in was the one that we got with the Nick Fortes trade from our friends up the street, the Rays. Yep. We have a Matthew Etzel. Then we also got infielder Chase Jaworski.
Well, you got to explain. The Etzel was made for the Nick Fortes trade.
Yeah, that was the Nick Fortes one.
And then Jesus Sanchez was dealt to the Astros for
Chase Jaworski and Ismael Valencia.
Right. And Jaworski is actually the 13th prospect in the Astros minor league system. So that's a big deal. Get a guy who could hopefully make his way to the big leagues here soon enough. And that was the key part in the trade today. The only thing that, again, I was not excited about is we didn't get any major league ready bats back. However, the reason why, and it's what a lot of people are pretty much putting out there, is that Jacob Marcy, who's down in up in Jacksonville with the Jumbo Shrimp, is having an amazing year. He's got 14 home runs. He's got 47 RBIs 14 home runs, 37 RBIs, and 47 stolen bases. So a lot of people are pointing at him to be called up here soon enough, hopefully in this homestead. Ironically enough, we are playing the Yankees this weekend and then the Astros following the Yankee series. So maybe Jacob Marcy is going to be making his major league debut here coming up.
Exactly what I was about to say. Yankees come to town tomorrow for a 3-game series here. Sunday, very, very interesting. We're actually going to have a really cool Sunday. Sunday we'll be at Dolphins training camp, but we may have to leave just a little early because we are heading to a Marlins game. And we usually get a lot of shade for that, but on Sunday it's a very special day. Not only is it a bobblehead day, but we are honoring. I know you want to take the theater.
Yeah, it's Jack McKeon, and it's going to be his bobblehead game. So it's Jack McKeon being inducted into the Hall of Fame. He's got to be like 93 years old at this point. He is.
So he lives in North Carolina currently. What I love about him, obviously, he's from New Jersey. He's from the town like right next to mine, and he is actually known for invented lights for baseball in New Jersey, meaning night baseball. So he says it that before him there was no Friday Night Lights kind of baseball.
Yeah. No, so, definitely. Yeah. I didn't know that he did that, especially in your neck of the woods. So that's pretty cool. But no, Jack McKeon, obviously the managerial winning manager of the 2003 World Series against the New York Yankees. Yep. So fittingly enough that he's going to be going into the Hall of Fame, the Marlins Hall of Fame, in against the Yankees being played. So that's great. He's famously known also, besides the lights that you pointed out, he's also famously known for in that series in 2003. The Yankees were down 3-2 going back to the Bronx for game 6 and 7. And he had the opportunity to start Carl Pavano in game 6 and give Josh Beckett an extra day. But he said, no, I'm not here for a game 7. I'm here to win it and close it on 6. He rolled Josh Beckett out on 3 days rest. And Josh Beckett pitched one of the greatest, if not the greatest game in Marlins history, a 2-0 complete game shutout against the Yankees in the Bronx. The last ever World Series played at the old Yankee Stadium, last time that the Yankees lost one there. And so, it was a big deal, and it would be a lot of fun to honor Jack McKeon this weekend.
Robert, hello in the house. Adam says, have to consider the doom coming after 2026 season. You know what? I know it's obviously the dark cloud in the room, but the Marlins are going to win the World Series next year, and I'm going to be on such a high from that if we have to take a little lockout, it's okay. Just kidding.
I don't know about that, but.
All right, so let's shift gears. Let's talk a little.
Well, let's before we do that, I got to mention the big bat that moved, and a lot of players moved. I mean, there was a flurry of action here in this last hour, and last couple of days leading up to it. But the Seattle Mariners got the biggest bat out there, Eugenio Suarez. He's got 36 home runs, 87 RBIs. He goes to the Mariners, who are currently 5 games behind the Astros in the AL West. And they are currently the wild card leaders, so they have to shake up that lineup. You got J-Rod out there. You got Cal Raleigh, who won the home run derby. So adding another power bat to that lineup helps them. That's a huge deal for them. You mentioned Carlos Correa went back to the Astros, so that'll be, I'm sure, received not so well by those people that dislike and dismay the Astros. So that'll be fun to watch. And then closers, San Diego got Mason Miller from the Athletics. The Phillies ended up getting Joan Duran from the Minnesota Twins. The Minnesota Twins had a fire sale. They got rid of every player. The Mets countered that move. The Mets and the Phillies are battling for first place in the NL East. The Mets got Ryan Helsley from the Cardinals, another closer, and the Yankees. Adam's in the room. The Yankees ended up picking up David Bednar from the Pirates. So a lot of big-name closers were moved at the deadline, and some teams are really going for it here and trying to lock down those ninth-inning wins.
All right, so switching gears, let's talk about football. Tonight is the official kickoff of the NFL season. Although it is not a regular season game, you have a matchup tonight in Canton, Ohio. You have the Detroit Lions, and then you have the Los Angeles Chargers battling against each other. This game's always fun. I mentioned before, went to Canton 2 years ago. I wish we were there this year, as we all should be there this year. Getting Richmond Webb into the Hall of Fame, unfortunately, did not happen this year, but we are hopeful that it will happen very, very soon. So, again, this kicks off the enshrinement weekend. It'll be the game, and then it'll follow into the enshrinement presentations and programs throughout the weekend. So that's exciting.
And I'm wearing my Richmond Webb.
You are, Olivia.
Belongs in the Hall of Fame shirt. So definitely, always going to be fighting for that until he gets in. We'll have another opportunity to do so this year. Semifinalist last year, and so hopefully this year takes the next step. I know Adam is in the room. He is going to the Hall of Fame induction.
Oh, that's awesome.
This weekend. Eric Allen from the Philadelphia Eagles is going in, deservedly so. So Adam will be there in Canton, and looking forward to following him and seeing the enshrinees go in this year. It's pretty cool.
You just mentioned.
Yep.
It is amazing. It is such a fun thing. George is wearing his Ricky Williams Dolphin jersey right now. Well,
nice.
All right, so let's talk Dolphins. We are about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks into training camp, and while Tua is looking fantastic, I think still up to date. He has not even thrown an interception, which is great to hear. We have been prone and knocked out with some injuries, some really big ones, especially to our secondary. So let's back up a little bit. Training camp opened a week and a half ago. We went on Saturday, which was the first day that it was open to the public. Guys, I know that there has been issues with tickets. We try to get answers. We still don't know what's going on with the tickets. Yeah. We didn't even have a ticket really going into that that training camp either. But it's not just you. It's not just us. Something's really weird's going on with training camp tickets. And
they mentioned and they put it out there. They didn't want. I can't believe people are selling training camp tickets. They're free, but I guess there was rumor out there that people were selling the tickets on Craigslist or OfferUp or whatnot, and the Dolphins wanted to control that. First of all, shame on you if you're selling free training camp tickets. That's kind of a lowball move, but there's got to be a better way to do it, right? I mean, maybe don't give people the opportunity to buy 6 or 7 tickets at a time. Limit it to just how many tickets you have in your account, and then open up the rest of the general public. But man, there's got to be a better way to do it because I still have not received my tickets for this weekend either.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Members Day is Saturday. All right, so let's get into it. So let's start with Miami. TVG, his point right off. Promising results from the offense, but the defense worries me for that reason of injuries. So he's excited about the offense. Yep. However, it is the defense that is concerning him. Offense, right? So we were on, we mentioned this before. We were on Finn's Faithful podcast last night. We dug into this probably for like an hour. And while a lot of our opinions aligned, there were still some that were back and forth. So let's start with quarterback. As I mentioned before.
Well, let's address the injuries because that's what, you brought up.
Okay.
So Artie Burns, went down. That was the first to fall. You also had Matos, right, that was airlifted, right? Wasn't he airlifted?
Matos, yeah.
Yeah, Matos was airlifted. So that was unfortunate. And then the big one that we were at on Saturday was
Kader Kohou. So what's interesting about Kader's injury is non-contact ACL, which – more often than not, it's like the worst one. That's kind of with Halliburton, right? Halliburton, I know comparing 2 different sports, but the non-contact ones are just debilitating. And with Kader Kohou, we didn't really hear much about it after it actually happened. He seemed to have hobbled off himself, and then things were like hush-hush the last few days. And then just the other day, we found out that he's completely out for the season. So I mentioned this the other day. Our secondary, okay, you have to really listen to this because this is just crazy when you really put into perspective, Dolphin fans. Our secondary, our entire starting secondary from last season is gone. Again, total secondary gone. So our secondary, Jalen Ramsey, obviously traded. Then you had Kendall Fuller, release. Kader out with injury. Javon Holland left in free agency. Obviously, he's going to be playing in New York this year. And then Jordan Poyer, which I don't even want to mention that name because that was such a waste of a year, is gone as well. We made like 2 dumb. I think of Jordan Poyer and I think of Odell. 2 guys who generally I was kind of excited about bringing them down here to the Miami Dolphins culture. And it's like, for what? Terrible. Anyways.
Well, we should have known better with Poyer because he was a former Bill. So that should have told us everything we needed to know. But he was a complete abomination. As a Miami Dolphin, he was horrible. These injuries have not been kind to us. This is an opportunity for the rookie, Jason Marshall Jr. out of Florida. Hopefully he'll have an opportunity to do some things. Ethan Bonner, will hopefully get a shot as well, a good look at. And then Cam Smith, who we drafted a couple years ago, who's not been able to find his way on the field. Cam Smith's going to have if he can't make it now, I don't know when he'll make it or if he'll ever make it, because with all these guys falling down in front of him, it's time for him to finally, come to fruition as to what we drafted him to be. And so hopefully he gets a shot. The other aspect of it is yes, there's a lot of injuries in the secondary, but, Minkah Fitzpatrick did come back to us in a trade. He's back there as safety and he's excited. I know that you talked about his press conference as he mentioned as he's not really a big social media guy, but he's very excited to be back in Miami. He's a ball hawk, a guy that can go out there and make plays. Made a lot of big plays in Pittsburgh. Made plays for us too before we traded and moved on. So looking forward for Minkah being out there, and then our front line there. Everybody from the rookie Kenneth Grant out of Michigan, who played on a national championship team there with the Wolverines. Obviously Zach Sealer's still in there. We drafted some other, defensive tackles, and then getting Phillips and Chubb back healthy. So defense is a lot more promising than people are making it out to be.
So we have some friends coming down in October. Paul from the UK says, looking forward to meeting you all in October for my first ever live NFL game at the Hard Rock Stadium. Been a fan for nearly 40 years. We are very excited that you are coming down Paul. Here.
Look forward to seeing you.
A blast. And then Miami says, still looking forward to coming to the Hard Rock in October. Yes. All right, so October, we're all coming down. So that would mean you guys are either coming to, maybe the Ravens game, because we have the Thursday night Ravens game, or there's one more game. Because the first week in October, we play in Charlotte, And then the second week, is that the Chargers game? So I'm thinking you guys are either coming to the and I already know it. Okay. You guys are either coming to the Chargers game or you're coming to the Ravens game. So drop in the chat. I'm curious to know which one you guys are coming to, because the other ones we play in Atlanta and then we play in Charlotte. So
so drop in the chat where
Miami's coming to the Chargers game most likely. Okay, so you're thinking mid-October.
Cool. Very cool.
Perfect.
No, that's fan club weekend, so that's be a big good one to
Paul,
go
which one are you looking at? And then coming down for the Panthers home opener.
Guys,
okay, so Panthers home opener.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Oh, I got some news for you.
Yes, but before we do that, guys, again, please remember to like tonight's episode and subscribe if you have not done so already. If you're watching us on X, come on over to YouTube. Hop in the chat, interact. We love to interact with you guys. We want to know what you're thinking. So definitely come on over and
hang out with us.
Hang out. Yep.
Paul is also coming for the Chargers game. Cool. All right, so we have a lot of people coming for the Chargers game. All right, David brought up a very interesting question. I also want to know in the chat, what do you guys think about this? I'm going to bring up two names. So Xavier Howard, number one.
No, X to that.
And the second name I want to bring up, should I do it? I'm going to do it. Sure. Christian Wilkins. Okay, so they always say, oh, you know, with your ex, take him back, do not take him back. All right, do you guys want Xavier Howard and Christian Wilkins? So in the chat, yes, Xavier Howard, no Xavier Howard, yes, Christian Wilkins, no Christian Wilkins. So I'm going to start, and I'm going to plead my case. So, okay, both yes. So here, all right. So I'm going to plead my case for Christian Wilkins. Christian Wilkins, and I've said this all week, and Lou does not agree with me still. So hopefully I'll have some backing from you guys. Lou does not want Christian Wilkins here. I want Christian Wilkins here. Can Christian Wilkins still play to the ability to where he used to play? Probably not. He's older. He's injury bound. He's kissing people now. All right. But at the end of the day, the guy can lead this team as a leader on the bench. Right? We lost Calais Campbell and we lost Teron Armstead. Those are two veteran players who brought
leadership.
Who brought experience and leadership to the team. We don't really have that on the team anymore. So I think if you bring Christian Wilkins, again, at a very, very cheap price, pretty much pennies to nothing. Well, anything's better than what he has now because he is out of a job right now. Bring him back. Let him play maybe here and there if he can. But if anything, be a leader to the guys on the team. I think it's worth it for Christian Wilkins to come back this season. So before you go on, Miami says yes. Paul says yes to Wilkins. David says, if he on X, Wilkins, yes. Oh, I love you guys so much. This is why I do this. Paul said no to X. Yes, if healthy. All right. So I got some backing here. Now Lou's going to tell you why to know the Christian Wilkins.
No. So look, X completely out on that. You know, he was, at the end of his career, his run here with us, he didn't do too well. And then he got into some really crazy stuff. X-rated stuff, if you will, and he's been blackballed from the league. I mean, nobody's picked him up, so he's been out 2 years now, and I don't think anybody will pick him up, and I don't think we should either. With Wilkins, look, Wilkins is still not 100%. It's one of the reasons. I know the Raiders are throwing out this thing where there's an HR dispute and whatnot, but he was injured also. He played only about 6 or 7 games last year before going down, so he's still hurt. That's one. Another problem with the contract is that he didn't do his rehab the way that they wanted him to do. So that was a whole, mess in Las Vegas. So I don't know that he's, healthy, number one. And then number two, we moved on. We drafted, Kenneth Grant, who was his replacement, and then we also drafted 2 other guys in Jordan Phillips and Zeke Biggers at the same position with the hopes of rotating these guys in and out and keeping them and Zach Sealer fresh. So I don't know that you're going to have a spot for Christian Wilkins, especially, a guy that's going to look to still get paid because the Raiders, voided all that guaranteed money. So he didn't really get paid. And that he's still going to want that. So if he, we talked about it on the show last night with George and Jason on the Fins Faithful podcast. Great episode, by the way. If he's willing to come down here and take that hometown discount and, establish himself again in order to get a bigger contract, I'm all for it. But I'm not trying to lock him up for several years and, pay him money that I'm not sure he's worth right now and that he's not healthy.
You talk about money, and I think it's also important to mention Zach Sealer. Okay, Zach Sealer is a man that I respected last season, obviously on and off the field, but even more because if this was any other player, they would not be playing. They would not be practicing. They would be holding out of practice and stuff, especially in South Florida when it's 120 degrees out. But this man wants more money, which he definitely does deserve. If anybody deserves the money, it is Zach Sealer. And even though he's not happy right now with how much money he's making, he's still showing up at practice, in conditioning, everything with good attitude, good spirits, mentoring these younger guys. So shout out to Zach Steeler for putting the work in, even when you're not really happy with the money you're making, but you're still showing up every day. Really, really appreciate that. So keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully they wake up and pay you.
No doubt. And you mentioned Christian Wilkins. He didn't do that either. He's a great teammate. Yeah. He never held out either.
Salt and pepper.
He said he was going to, but he decided not to. So that was awesome. Cap mentions this great thing here. The front four rotation is going to be utilized a lot. Just a lot of bodies moving in and out every snap to keep those guys, those big boys, fresh. And Weaver calling it the tsunami effect. I love it. And a cure. I mentioned this in last night's show as well. A great cure for the injuries at the secondary spot is having those big boys up front batting balls down or getting to the quarterback where he doesn't have time to throw. So hopefully that's the case. And with a rejuvenated Bradley Chubb, non-injured Jalen Phillips, and a upcoming star in Chop Robinson leading the way, hopefully we get a lot more sacks than we did last year.
You mentioned Bradley Chubb. Guys, I just want to bring you back. Bradley Chubb has been out since December of 2023. I think of 2023, I can't remember anything that even happened in that year. Right. This man has been out since the Baltimore game. So really excited to see where Bradley Chubb comes back. And you mentioned Jalen Phillips. Again, are they going to be 100%? We can just hope that, the doctors and they have rehabilitated themselves to that. But I really believe in these two guys, and I think that they are two missing pieces that we didn't have last year or we had Jalen Phillips a little bit, but that are really going to push the needle. Cap says, Zach is a lunch pail guy like me.
Love it. Yeah, just put your hard head on and go to work, man. And that's what it's all about. And that's what a lot of the guys and the teams have been doing. I want to also mention, I know we're going to shift gears here, but, there's a culture change is what they're saying. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah.
You still got Mike McDaniel. These preseason games are 3, but you don't really show that you've improved as a coach in a preseason game. When you're putting in your second, third, and guys trying to make the team stringers. So we're going to have to wait till the regular season to see if there is, in fact, a culture change.
So Commanders wide receiver Tarek McLaurin has requested a trade.
Yep.
Then McLaurin has requested a trade. And then Adam says McLaurin says pay me or trade me.
Yeah, I don't think that's a fit for the Dolphins. I think we're good at receiver. Last year, obviously, you mentioned Odell. Cover your ears. And then River Craycraft got hurt. But this year we brought in Westbrook Ickhind from Tennessee. He's a guy that had 9 touchdowns last year, so he can find the end zone. You bring in Malik Washington is going to have his second season. He thrived towards the end of last year. So, and then you're depending on, a healthy Tyreek Hill and a healthy Jalen Waddle.
Not even just a healthy Tyreek Hill, a non-Antonio Brown mindset out of trouble.
Yeah, that too. That's the most important.
I mean, a healthy Tyreek. Yes. Tyreek can play with a boo-boo on his thumb, a boo-boo on his leg. It's more like, hey, is he out of legal trouble? And is he there?
Right. But the McLaurin thing, I'm not really buying. I don't think we need to bring another guy in. I think we have more than enough weapons. And look, all of this is a non-starting point if Tua's not healthy, because Tua's got the weapons, and he's proven that when he stayed, healthy for a 17-game season, he could put up the numbers. So if he stays healthy, I don't think we need to bring in another piece to the offense, unless you're talking offensive line.
So there is a question that leads to perfect, as you just mentioned. Miami says, hey, I have a question that we haven't spoke about. What about Tua's protection? The offensive line is still a huge question. So today on the Joe Rose Show, I was listening on my way to Coral Gables to work, and this is not being addressed enough. And I don't get it, right? It's a very simple equation. And math is my worst subject, but healthy Tua no get hit. Protect Tua. Dolphins win games, right? So where is the disconnect? I understand, cornerback, we have to kind of figure out what's going on there. But even before there, we need to protect our quarterback. So Miami, you are right. I don't feel like there is enough emphasis right now on our offensive line protecting Tua, because if all these people are bought into Tua, which, a new season, whatever, off season, he did his work. And if we're really going to buy into Tua this year, you got to protect him. You got to make sure he's all his weapons to get the ball out, but also to protect him. And I don't know if we're there. In fact, I think this is the weakest offensive line that McDaniels has had in the last 3 seasons.
Well, I mean, it's weakened because Teron Armstead isn't there.
Yeah.
And that's a huge deal. But, Patrick Paul, by all accounts, has looked good in camp. I know it's only been a week and a half and only 2 or 3 of those days in pads, but he's looked good by all accounts, and he looked good last year subbing in for Armstead. So, you got to hope that he's, ready to assume that role. You brought in Daniels from the Commanders, and then you drafted Jonah Savaiinaea. So you got a guy who's a highly rated pick that you brought in. You got a guy in free agency, and you got a guy that you picked 2 seasons ago, and Patrick Paul, who now seems to
he's ready.
be ready. You got Brewer at center, who did a spectacular job last year. Austin Jackson is going to be on the right side, and he did great before getting hurt, so he's back and healthy this year. So, I think we're working our way towards getting that line fixed. But again, it starts and ends with Tua. He's got to get that ball out quick. He's got to find his receivers and keep the offense rolling.
We shall see. But no, Miami, I agree with you 1,000%. Obviously, needs are elsewhere as well, but it's Tua. And then, let's talk real quick about backups. Last year, we know the disastrous people we had behind Tua. This year, I think we are better with backups. We don't want to go into this season, kind of banking on our backups, but I am confident that if something was to happen or whatever, if we're up by 70 points, we're down by 70 points, whatever the case may be, I know that our backups are better this year than they were last year. I'm really excited about Quinn.
Quinn Ewers?
Quinn from Texas. He's really, really gaining respect in the team. He's doing well out there. I'm excited to see more of him this weekend in training camp. So keep it up, Quinn.
Yeah, no, look, we won't I'll mention it one time, and I'll try not to do it again, but Skylar Thompson was just awful in his, futile attempts to be a starting quarterback when Tua was out. He was a disgrace. You had to bring in Snoop Huntley off the streets because, Skylar Thompson couldn't figure it out. And then you even had to get Tim Boyle, who was on, a practice squad of the New York Jets. He couldn't even, make that Jets team as a, a third stringer. So that was an abomination.
We're okay with Zach Wilson last year, if it has to happen.
Yeah, you got Quinn Ewers, who played some really big games at Texas. His kid's got a lot of moxie, who can go out there and make the throws. And then, Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson obviously did not do well in his time with the Jets, but he's overall. Exactly. The Jets have been where quarterbacks go to die, literally. So he was a number 2 overall pick, never panned out with New York Jets. He didn't play last year with the Denver Broncos, but he was coached by Sean Payton, who is the quarterback whisperer for real, with all the great things he did with Drew Brees. And Sean Payton, gave Zach Wilson, high grade and high score and commended his work ethic and his ability to throw the football. He just never got a chance to see the field. So I'm okay. We're in a much better spot with our backups, 100%.
Miami got another question for us. I love these questions. All right, this one made me laugh. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
I cringe a little bit even reading it because I don't even want to think about it. But we're realistic people here. If the Dolphins don't make the playoffs, is Greer gone? No, they're not going to get rid of him.
No, they will because they will because there will be. I don't think it's just not make the playoffs. I think he's got to win at least one playoff game. And me personally, waiting this long and with the amount of talent that you have in offense, when you got think of what you want of him, but he is the number 1 receiver, is one of the top receivers in football in Tyreek Hill. Jalen Waddle is top 10. You drafted Tua as number 5. You got too much talent on offense where you got to win a playoff game. It's not about making the playoffs. It's about winning a playoff game. I'm sorry. If they do not win one playoff game, there was no way that Greer or McDaniel could come back. I'm telling you right now, because there will be a crazy amount of backlash from the fan base, and I know that the owner's not going to want to deal with that.
I'm going to throw in a little more to this. We start our season just in September, seeing the Bills on the road, and the Patriots and the Jets both play down here in September. We need to win all those games. And if we don't start this season with fire underneath our butts, it's before Chris Greer, you're going to see McDaniel's name come up more and more and more and more.
Yeah.
Again, this is not an easy schedule by any means, right? I mean, people.
Well, it's unanimous in the room. Everybody's saying that Greer will be gone. Forget about it. Again, they're saying that he doesn't make the playoffs. I'm saying he's got to win a playoff game, period.
But I think McDaniel will go before him.
McDaniel, if he doesn't get off to a good start, he's in jeopardy of getting fired during the season if they don't get off to a good start. And the other thing I want to say is that, remember, The Jets made a head coaching change, bringing in Aaron Glenn, their former player, and the Patriots brought back their former player in Mike Vrabel. So both the Jets and the Patriots are implementing a brand new system, brand new scheme, brand new everything. That takes a year or two to get rolling, especially when you did not make the playoffs. So Vrabel and Glenn have time to get their teams established. McDaniel should be ahead of those guys.
Yeah.
He should be light years ahead because his system's already in place. His coaching staff's in place. His quarterback's been in place. The Jets are going to break in Justin Fields. The Patriots are trying to still get Drake May up to speed. So the Dolphins should finish ahead of those two teams easily. They got to do it. If they don't, get rid of the coach because you allowed two other coaches who just came in to leap you. So
Cap's saying we cannot afford to let New England pass us by. And the problem with this is that there's a lot of people that believe that New England and the Jets are better than us this year.
Well,
time will tell.
Robert
says our schedule this year is pretty good. No games west of the Mississippi.
Right.
Yes, but then we also have a game east of the Atlantic that we have to get to. So yes, we're not going west, but we do have that Spain game. No, I think it's real. A lot of everything's on the East Coast pretty much, right? Obviously, Pittsburgh's a little more Indies, but yeah, no, it's a favorable schedule for the most part.
It is, but not towards the end. Towards the end, remember,
tough.
You mentioned Pittsburgh. That's a
Monday
night game
Then
on the road in the cold late in the year. Then you got two quarterbacks that are hot coming down here, and Joe Burrow with the Bengals on Sunday Night Football. Then you got the Bucs coming in here. Baker Mayfield's been playing good ball the last couple of years with the Bucs. So those are two playoff teams that are coming in here with big time quarterbacks. And then we just talked about it. You end the season at the Patriots in the cold, last game of the year. I hope that game doesn't mean something because it'll be very tough to win that game to close out the year.
Yeah, no, it's going to be an interesting schedule. Okay, so.
Well, we'll put training camp to bed, but I do want to bring this up. So you did this amazing thing here. You put together a Dolphins roster with all the names on them. So if you are at training camp this weekend, come see us, and we will give this to you. It's got all the players' names and numbers as of last week.
Their age, where they went to school. So I wanted you guys to get to on how long they've actually been in the NFL. So good
stuff there. And then the back has the schedule. And I also want to give a shout out, maybe you want to do it, to our
our host hotel is the Best Western in Fort Lauderdale Beach. It is our favorite hotel in Fort Lauderdale Beach. We stayed there during the Panthers period. We stayed there many times before. We just have we have a new partnership with them. So it is the official host hotel of the SoFLo Sports Show. If you guys are coming down for a game or you just want a weekend getaway, hit me up. I'm more than happy to get you guys in contact with them. They've been known to give some special rates to Dolphin fans. So definitely reach out to me and I'll put you in contact. Their hotel, first of all, the rooms are amazing.
Yeah.
Their pool, we're really big pool people, not so much beach, but it is right on the beach.
It's right close to the
but we're
beach.
pool people.
You can throw a football to where the beach is. So that's awesome. No, it's a great problem.
And then their breakfast, oh my gosh, they have an amazing, that's probably my favorite part, is their breakfast in the morning, continental, but it's not even just continental. They have everything. It's included as well. So if you guys are coming down, it is just minutes from the Fort Lauderdale airport, close to Hard Rock Stadium. Hit me up. More than happy to get you guys in contact with them.
Yep. And so, again, if you're going to training camp, definitely come see us and we'll get you a roster. It's a lot more convenient. I know it's a big paper, but it's a lot better zooming in on your phone and seeing, where the players are. So this will get you everything you need. So come out and see us for that.
Even if you guys aren't coming down this weekend, I'm more than happy to drop one of those in the mail for you. So DM me your address and I can definitely for sure get you one of those.
And we would also include this. It's Ashley's business card, if you will, but that's not what's important. What's important is, bam, the Dolphins schedule in the back. So you got a Dolphins pocket schedule also. So definitely, if you're at training camp this weekend, come see us and we'll get you the team roster with the breakdowns and the pocket schedule. All
right. So 2 more things shifting away from football. Number 1, the Panthers season opener. Okay. All right. So we're bringing down the banner. You guys want to be at that game. We were there last year where they dropped the championship banner. Here we are. Send me the information. David. Robert, DM me now. I'll get it to you. Once I get off, more than happy to put you in contact with them. And David, good point. Big E. So big thoughts and prayers for Big E. We were with him training camp last Saturday, and we were in the stands with him. And he said he had to go down for a minute and he was gone for like 20 minutes. We're with his wife, and all of a sudden they acknowledged him as like the fan of the game with an orange jersey. It was just beautiful to see. So really, really happy that the Dolphins and the organization and the fans were able to acknowledge Ian during these tough and scary times that he's going through. So thoughts and prayers, obviously always with Big E. We are here with you.
Yes.
All right. So Panthers home opener. We are going. We have tickets, and if you guys want to come with us, come with us. We have group tickets for this game. It is a 5:00 game, which is, first of all, it's a weekday game. It's on a Tuesday at 5:00. So already put in your PTO, your sick time. You're taking the day off. If not, you're leaving by 12:00. Come hang out with us in Sunrise. This is year 2 where the banner is going to get dropped. We're playing the Chicago Blackhawks. So guys, if you want to come with us, let us know. Group tickets, we haven't really announced it yet. This is a soft announcement, but we know the date, we know the time, and we have the tickets. We'd love for you to join us.
Yeah, time's not ideal, and it's funny. I said last year, hey, you don't want to miss this game. It could be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And then a year later, here we are doing it again, which is totally awesome, and I can definitely get used to it. But no, you never know when a banner is going to be raised.
Yeah.
If there's any game you want to go to, that's the game you want to go to.
Speaking of, Miss Finch joined us last year.
Finch, she was there with us. Yes.
But
the banner was, we got the same tickets, by the way. The banner was raised right in front of us. So like right there behind the goalie, went up right in front of us. Awesome photo op. So we got the same tickets again this year. So we're looking forward to it.
Miami's interested in coming with us. So shoot Lou a DM, Miami, and we'll tell you, what we got going on this. But we'd love for you guys to come with us.
Yeah, they did release that there's going to be 3 games, and the Panthers are the opening game for that opening opening night of hockey. But man, I thought it was disrespect to not have the champions, take the primetime spot at 8:00. But hey, they gave us a 5:00 spot. So definitely, as Ashley said, put in your PTO, put in your vacation days, get that day off.
Paul, come to America.
I will advertise it. I will do it later. Play hooky and come watch some hockey. Again, Panthers banner going up. You're not going to want to miss it. Last year, they gave us a replica banner that I have one in the car and one in the house here. And so, it's fantastic, and you don't want to miss it.
Paul said he's been a mate of Ian's on Twitter for 11 years. The man's a legend. I cannot wait till you meet him in October.
He's the best.
He's really, really tall, by the way, Paul. Like they call him Big E for a reason. Like, we're tall people, but towering. Miami cried last year. No, we all cried. It was a beautiful, beautiful really cool thing. So we look forward to that. All right. Non-sport related. And Lou and I usually like to keep, it is a SoFLo Sports Show. So we kind of like to keep the momentum going with sports. But I got to talk to you guys about something. So my favorite actor in the whole entire world is Adam Sandler. I love this man, right? I've had a crush on him. I've seen all of his movies. He's like my guy, right? Vin Diesel doesn't do it for me. Adam Sandler does it for me. I know, such a weird guy to have a crush on, but hey, I can't help who I like. And so when Happy Gilmore 2 was announced, I've been like counting it down. I'm a big Netflix girl. So it was last Friday. I'm like, Lou, let's watch a movie. Okay, babe, what do you want to watch? Dateline 2020? No, we're watching a movie. And he's like, what do you want to watch? Happy Gilmore 2. So you did your little Adam Sandler impersonation. You want to do it?
No,
you don't want to do it? Okay. Lou does a really good Adam Sandler.
Not tonight. I'll work my way to it.
And so we're like watching it, right? And I'm just like beaming. I'm like, Adam Sandler, it's so great to see him. Another movie. And like, I look over at Lou on the couch and like, he's watching it. But his face doesn't show the same enjoyment that I'm getting, right? And I'm just like, and Lou's kind of just, like watching by. Long story short, Lou thought the movie sucked.
He
didn't tell me till the end. Because I guess you didn't want to burst my bubble and be like, oh, shut this off. This sucks. So the movie ends and I'm like, oh, that was wonderful. Adam Sandler. And Lou was like, that sucks. So guys, I'm curious to know, for those who have seen Happy Gilmore 2, what your thought is about the movie. Obviously, it is very hard. I can't think, maybe you guys will know, of another sequel that the second one was better than the first one.
Well, there's a lot of that. But I mean,
really? Yeah. Because I feel like the first one is usually better than the second one.
Yeah.
So where's one, if you guys can think real quick, where a sequel, the second one was better than the first one? I feel
Let's stick to the point here. The point is, was it a good movie or not?
I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I wanted Happy Gilmore 3, a 4, a 5, a 7, a 10. You never want to see the guy again. Right. So guys, if you have seen it, curious to know, if you did, what you thought of the movie. And also if there was a movie, sequel 1, sequel 2, where sequel 2 is better than sequel 1. I just think in general, 1 is always better than 2. That's just how it is. So it's just always whatever.
Yeah. No, we'll see. I mean, like I said, I didn't like it too much. I did like the first one. Wasn't thrilled with the second one. But look, you got to give credit to Adam Sandler, right? He puts these blockbuster movies out. It's the same character in pretty much all of them.
That's
but,
more than okay.
He likes to get it done. So it's pretty fun.
Steven Gonzalez in the house. I thought Killing Virginia, his wife, killed the movie. Yeah, okay.
And that was right off the bat, right off the tee, if you will.
His
right.
Pretty wife his beautiful wife could have stayed in just a little longer, right? Maybe.
I apologize if anybody's hasn't watched it. No spoilers. No spoilers out here.
Cap's laughing at us. Miami says, have you guys seen the Superman and the Fantastic Four?
No, we haven't.
We haven't.
Not yet.
So that's something we do have to see. I will tell you, like, Inside Out, the Disney movie, the second one was better than the first one. That's just like one I can think off the top of my head. But usually, again, my point is that the first one's better than the second one. To you especially agree with this. Yeah, the first one was better than the second one, but the second one was not as bad as you said it. So, All right. Go ahead, Lou.
No, good. What do we got next?
Lou wants to say his condolences about Hulk Hogan. We haven't had a show in about 2 weeks. We took some time to go to Pigeon Forge in Gatlinburg. Guys, by the way, if you haven't been to Tennessee, you need to get out there. Let me tell you about the Smoky Mountains. It is fantastic. So please, if you ever get the chance to go to Tennessee, do it. It is beautiful. 1 week after he came back from vacation, breaking news that Hulk Hogan did pass away. Lou was a big Hulk Hogan fan growing up.
The Hulk was awesome. So, it was tough to watch. And it was, if you guys get a chance, we were out in Tennessee. Yeah. We visited the Hulk Hogan store. The Hulk Hogan Wrestling Shop, it's called. It's his third store open. He's got one in Orlando, one in his hometown of Clearwater Beach, and this is his third store opening up in Tennessee. And I found out also he's due to open one up in New York. I didn't know this.
So it was gonna be a rooftop bar, right next to Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. So he made his wrestling debut at Madison Square Garden. So I read today that there's still plans to continue with that store. So that'll be his fourth location. But we visited his third location in Pigeon Forge while in Tennessee, and we did a whole video of it. It's about 7 minutes long. Ashley edited it. She was editing it while we got the news, and it was just
surreal.
We couldn't believe it. It was surreal that we were in that store just 6 days previously, and then you get that news, and the guy was an icon, man. I mean, he's one of those guys where I always say when if the person was famous or infamous or however you want to say it enough, well, Hulk Hogan, you could drop him off anywhere in the world, and everybody will say that's Hulk Hogan.
Because his mustache, the bandana,
it's everything. It's just his bigger than life personality. Yeah. Hulkamania, it was worldwide, and some insane matches, some battles. He would always tell his favorite line was eat your vitamins, train, say your prayers. Yeah. So he was a positive influence to the kids growing up. I know he had some incidents that were less desirable in his later years. But again, everybody makes mistakes. And people that are comparing him to what other people do, which again, not condoning his actions or what the words that were said. But I think people were making it a bigger deal than what it was. And, it wasn't the right time to say that. So whatever. Hulk Hogan, a monstrous figure in the world of wrestling, sports, and entertainment. And so condolences to him. I also wanted to, since today was a big baseball day, Ryan Sandberg, legendary Hall of Famer for the Chicago Cubs, one of the best defensive, second basemen of all time, if not the best, and definitely, among the top of his position. He was incredible. And so, definitely, Ryan Sandberg, that was a horrible loss for the sport as well. So,
Paul, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Paul.
We look forward to seeing you and meeting you in October.
Absolutely.
We're going to give you the Grand Royal treatment here. So very excited for you
Looking
to come
forward to that, Paul.
over here.
Have a good night.
It's been a very, very Ozzy Osbourne. So there's been a lot of things happen.
Ozzy Osbourne, speaking of that, a legend as well in his own right. And, he touched the sports world as well because, man, Crazy Train.
It's like everything.
Is like a sports anthem. A lot of we talked about closers earlier tonight. Closers would come out to that song. Hitters would come up as their walk up to the plate song.
Cool song.
So, Ozzy Osbourne, come on. Huge legend.
All right, guys, before we let you go, a little update on 305 Sports Travel. We are literally down to just one ticket left in our Fins fan sections for the Falcons and Atlanta Falcons and Miami Dolphins game. So, again, if you are a solo traveler, and you are looking for one game ticket, we got you. That's all we have left in our Fins Fan section. After that, we will release another package, which will include like the social and the tailgate. But for game tickets, we are just down to one. So if you want that, grab that because that's not going to last very much longer. Before that, we have Buffalo. That's in September. On that Wednesday, we have a Fins Fan Buffalo Bash going on. And then Pittsburgh in December, which more information about that's going to be released soon.
Yep.
The big news is Ben Roethlisberger is going to be inducted into the Steelers Hall of Fame that day.
Not just Roethlisberger, but also Joey Porter.
I always forgot to say that.
Who was a former Dolphin, spent some time here, Dolphin linebacker, so he will be going into the Ring of Honor as well. So that game just got a little bigger by the fact that
cool.
Specifically with Ben Roethlisberger going into the Ring of Honor, that's going to be a high demand for that game.
And then I imagine Dan Marino being at that game because obviously he's from Pittsburgh. And then you're going to have some really cool Steelers players come back. Troy Polamalu was one of my favorite players growing up. So I mean, he's going to come back and obviously be part. So it's going to be a cool weekend. And then you can hang out with us. And it's going to be around the holiday time in Pittsburgh. So you're going to see all the nice Christmas decorations. And we're going to get that win. So, guys, definitely consider coming out to the Pittsburgh Steelers Dolphins game with us.
Monday Night Football. Yeah.
So
it'll be fun.
All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for.
Oh, I did want to.
Hold on.
We're going to. So we did this last year.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm going to actually tease this. I'm going to release this info tonight, even though we're going to, do a post about it tomorrow. But last year, in efforts to mention Big E and his battle, Ashley, obviously, and the both of us have donated and participated at DCC, Dolphins Challenge Cancer. Cancer Challenge. So we're definitely, doing that again, trying to raise funds and awareness. We will be participating. I know you're going to be doing. Are you running this year? Are you jogging? What are you going to do? I'm going to do a walk. But what are you doing?
I am running like the wind.
Okay. Well, that opens up this week, or I think next week. You can register
next week.
Okay, so you can register for DCC starting next week. And so we are going to do our fundraising initiatives. Last year, we did a really cool one, which was squares. A lot of people, put together squares in their mind for the Super Bowl, but we are doing squares for the first two NFL games of the season. That is going to be the Eagles hosting the defending champion Eagles, hosting the Cowboys. And then on Friday night from Brazil, you got the Chiefs and the Chargers going at it. So the way it's going to work is
you're going to pick a number. You're going to say, hey, Ash, I want number 32, right? So we're going to give you number 32, write your name. Yep. So we're going to say Robert S, number 32, Robert S. If you do number 32 and you win, I want that whole pot. And then Lou will randomly draw the numbers live on a show.
We're going to do it, yeah. But the point here is you get 32, you get it in both. So it's you pick the one number, you get it in both. So you get 8 chances to win. The payouts will be first, second, third, and fourth quarter or final score. So you have 8 chances to win. It is a $20 buy-in. $5 of that, which will go to DCC. And when you total it up, the 5 times the 100 squares, we will be making a $500 donation to DCC. So it's for a great cause. And you might have an opportunity to win some money on the side. So good thing all the way around.
We'll give you the Zelle, the Venmo. So even if you guys are not in Miami, which most of you aren't, you could still participate. In fact, most of the people who do participate don't live in Miami. So you guys are definitely able to join in on the squares this year to not only win some money, but to support DCC and have some fun.
Yep. So if you are interested in purchasing the square before it goes live tomorrow, definitely reach out to one of us and we will get you down. If not, wait for that post to come out tomorrow and see if your number's still available. I know people get super. I know I do, and I'm being nice about it because I could lock up my numbers. I won't reveal who.
That's why I made up 32.
What they are.
I was going to say our number, but
and specifically with Dolphin players, I love to get my favorite Dolphin players and lock up those numbers. I won't give away my secrets, and I'll be nice and not assume those squares yet. But I'm going to give you about 4 or 5 days, and I'm going to say, you know what? My numbers are still out there. I'm grabbing them. So
David said shoot him a DM. He's for sure interested.
All right, cool. There you go.
Right.
We'll lock you in.
You'll get the first dibs.
You'll get the first dibs on the number you like before it goes up.
But it can't be our numbers. Just kidding.
No.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us tonight on the eve of football and at the end of the MLB trade deadline. Again, we started off the show talking about the Marlins. I am the happiest girl in the 305 because Sandy Alcantara remains a Marlin. So does Edward Cabrera, but more importantly, Sandy Alcantara. So the season goes on and positive. Dolphins training camp. We're in the heat of it. Big 2 days. This coming up Saturday and Sunday, Members Day, and then Community Day. So, guys, if you can make it, it's always fun. It's hot, but these new fans that they have called Big Fans it actually cools it down. So, yes, it's hot, but not as bad as it usually is. So, hopefully, we'll see you guys at training camp. If you want one of those practice schedules and a regular practice roster and a schedule, shoot me or Lou a DM. More than happy to drop that in the mail for you guys free of charge. We'll get that to you, no problem.
Yep. And if you got a chance, come out to the ballpark this weekend. The New York Yankees are in town. Unfortunately, Aaron Judge is not in the lineup. He's on the injured list, but it's still the Yankees, and there's going to be a big buzz at the ballpark. The Marlins deserve your viewership. You watching them. They are just 3 games under 500. They're playing a big series against those big, bad Bronx Bombers this weekend. So come on out to the ballpark and enjoy some baseball.
Robert says 100. Dave says 13. All right, guys.
All right, there you go.
Reach out to Lou to get those numbers settled, and we'll put your name out there and win big bucks. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you at training camp. We'll be there on Saturday and Sunday, followed by the Marlins game Sunday afternoon against the Yanks. In the meantime,
that's it. Have a great Friday coming up tomorrow, and Richmond Webb in the Hall of Fame, baby. Peace.